welcome to the Felt Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. It's a bit of a unique show. I've been doing some unique shows lately. I've been collabing. I've been doing some guest podcasts with some local podcasters. But today, I don't know if you can see this behind me, but it's ChitChat on this side and it's Feld Podcast. This is a combined episode with the crew of the ChitChatCafe. They're a new podcast in the, let's just say, the Metroplex in Texas. But obviously, we want to reach more people through their program outside of this area. But I want to say thank you for everyone who's been tuning in. I'm watching their numbers and their views, and we've gotten a lot of support from the community, from the podcast community, and obviously friends and family. So I want to say thank you. If you're watching this on the Feld Podcast channel, this is going to air not only on my channel, but it's also going to air on the ChitChatCafe. It's kind of like this thing I want to practice, and I want to showcase the girls and see where their mind is as far as regarding their journey as like podcasters. It's something new to all of them, so I'm very curious where their mind is. I'm very curious what they've learned up to now. And so with that being said, I skipped the intro for the Failed Podcast, but we focus on failures and challenges and the lessons that we learn from those failures and challenges, and we want to share people's stories so that we can inspire you, the listener, to keep going. But I want to welcome the girls from the ChitChatCafe podcast. Ladies, how are y'all doing?
Hi, guys.
What's up?
So the ChitChatCafe, it's got a long story. It came to be because we all know each other. This is my wife, Monica. There's her two friends. We're all friends. We all know each other. We've been knowing each other for a while. So we're going to kind of jump into how all of this started. But obviously, I know the ChitChatCafe like the back of my hand, and I know that the cafe part is important. As for me, today I'm having I'm having a vanilla latte with oat milk is my go-to drink. I like it hot. I like it iced. I don't do it like in a shake style. I drink it either way. It just hits the spot every time. And so that's what I'm having. So cheers if you're at home drinking your coffee. And we'll start with Nubia on the far end. What are you drinking today?
What's up, y'all? I am drinking a chai tea latte.
You didn't sound so sure about what you were drinking.
It's a chai tea latte from Starbucks, Mr. Sam. It's a new one today. I was excited.
Don't say Starbucks on my show because they're not a paid advertiser.
It's okay, but we will do it because that's what we say on ours. Hello. No, I went to the what do you call them? The baristas? No, it's not barista. We're not doing that. Oh my gosh. What do you call the people?
Girl, get it together. I'm gonna let you. No, leave her alone. Let her be. Let her be.
No, I'm asking. What are they called? What are
Baristas,
they called?
girl.
Oh, so I was right.
Yeah.
Yes,
oh my gosh. Number you guys. I told y'all need to help me.
I wasn't sure what you were asking.
Oh,
so
because you said it.
Yeah, because you said it.
We
okay.
I was thinking barista was something else.
Let me stop you. Okay, y'all have to respect the host. Okay, if y'all hear me talk, y'all cannot be chit chat. That was crazy.
We chit chat.
I was like, what's going on? It's not normal for me to have three girls in my ear at the same time.
Sorry.
So, Nubia, you're having
chai latte.
Thank you so
with
much.
With oat milk. I didn't finish. With oat milk and a little bit of caramel drizzle.
Guys, if you're watching this and you're doing a podcast with several people, sometimes you bypass your own turn. Girl, you moved past your turn because you got into a chit chat. So anyways, let's try this again. Josie, plain and simple, what are you drinking?
Plain and simple, hot tea.
Yeah.
It's cinnamon hot tea.
Sounds good.
Good.
What do I call you? Monica, babe?
Monica.
I don't want to show favoritism because I'm going to kind of put y'all through the ringer.
Love of my life. No, I'm just kidding. Monica, because that's what I am on the chit chat. So I am having a vanilla latte with oat milk as well. It's my favorite as well. I'm not trying to copy Sam from the Failed Podcast, but it's really good.
Yeah. So the ChitChatCafe has it has a unique story, okay? And if y'all don't know it by now, few people know, but I'm producing the show. And there's probably questions out there as to what a producer does. It comes in many forms. I set up the whole podcast. I talk to them. I coach them. We talk about episodes a lot, but they're going to share a little bit about how that looks from their perspective. And so, girls, as of February 6th of this year, y'all launched. Okay, you are 9 episodes in. The 10th episode's coming out soon. And so far, how has it felt? What have you learned? Keep it short and precise because it's 4 of us, and if you divide that by 45, there is not enough time. We'll start with Josie.
What was the question again?
I'm gonna redirect, okay? And please pay attention. Here we go. What inspired each of you to start or join the podcast, and how did you come up with the idea for the show? Josie?
So the idea was just brought to me, and I just said, hey, let's do it. I'm up for a new experience.
That's good.
And here we are, 9 episodes in, and I haven't given up.
Nubia?
I hope you don't give up.
What inspired you when you started to join the podcast?
I think just sitting with the girls. When Monica brought it to our attention, was like, oh my gosh, she thinks that we have something to bring to the table. And again, the thing for me was just being with my girls and having fun.
Yeah. Monica?
So the idea came obviously because I didn't know anything about podcasting before until I met you. And I was seeing different podcasts, out there. And I was like, man, I think, me and the girls could do this. And then I just kept it quiet because I was like, no, it's too much. It's hard, Sam. It's hard to start a podcast. Like, it's not easy. Yeah. And I was like, no, it's too much. They're already so busy. And then when I brought it, to your, like, hey, what do you think? And you were like, let's try it. I was like, oh my gosh, Sam thinks it's a good idea. Let's just do it.
Monica mentioned something kind of specific there, that it's not easy. Now, as far as it being easy or difficult for both of y'all, for Nubia and Josie, how do y'all define it? Do y'all see it as an easy task or difficult task to start a podcast?
Difficult.
Why is that?
Because we all think, oh yeah, we're going to be sitting, chit-chatting about whatever. But no, some of the times nos desviamos, like we can go off topic to or the camera doesn't work, we have to redo it again. It's difficult. It's difficult sitting actually right here in front of the mic and talking to you guys. It's not easy.
Josie?
So to me, I feel like it's easy because I can sit here and chit-chat away, But it can get difficult due to technical difficulties or whatever, and due to, our busy schedules. But I feel like once I'm here, it's just, get it done. Let's chit-chat. And I feel like that comes easy to me.
Now, in the podcast community, obviously, across the country, I follow a lot. I watch a lot of teams execute podcasting all the way from 2 to there's some podcasts that have 6 people, and it's very difficult to share the mic for it to not be so chaotic. But there's also a chemistry that's difficult to develop. You really don't know what that's going to be until you start rolling. And the reason I say that is because y'all have had conversations over dinner, coffee, whatever, in the past 10 years or so since we've all known each other. So y'all have an idea of your chemistry and the way that y'all communicate. But for people that are watching and they're like, oh, they're doing it, they're friends, we're friends, we want to do it. Now, this is my opinion, but it doesn't translate. Dinner talk, coffee talk doesn't translate over to podcast talk / communication. What was the biggest surprise for y'all as far as that difference whenever it comes to doing a pod and talking and just being friends?
I think for me, I think the biggest difference is we have to be very careful what we say, even if it is our opinion, because it's a lot of responsibility for like whoever's watching. You know, you never want to come off as rude, even if it's your opinion. And I think when we have our dinner talks, our lunch talks, over the phone talks, it's us, and it's like whatever. It's almost like whatever goes. Like, okay, fine. You want to say that? You want to, that's fine. But on live or like a recording, it's totally different because you can't get back what you say, especially if it's going to be out there.
Yeah, people don't realize that the way I talk to my friends in private is not the way that I communicate on the pod. There's a difference. Now my personality is the same, but I communicate. I'm more thoughtful whenever I push record, and whenever I upload and put it out into the world. What about y'all? What's been like a big difference where you're like, man, we were like this in private, and man, that we've struggled, or we've learned this once we turned on the record button?
I think for us is making sure that we're not all talking at the same time. Give us time to either make sure that we, not like in the beginning, make sure that we all have the time, and also find tells. Okay, she's gonna go next, or she has the answer. She's talking and whatnot. So it's just making sure we're listening to each other and like seeing each other to make sure it goes smooth.
Josie?
Yeah, it's like we have to all give each other that opportunity to talk so that people can hear us and clearly, what we're saying, whether in our dinner talks, table talks, everyone's talking, everyone's yelling, everyone's laughing. Like, we don't care.
Yeah. It's hard to balance time. Like, it's easy if y'all don't have a rhythm. Now, I'm speaking to people that are watching, and they're like, they want to start a pod, and they're trying to figure out what goes on between a team whenever people are producing a podcast. So whenever I sound like I'm not talking to y'all, I am, but I'm also talking to the audience of people who may be wanting to step into it. One of the sad parts about teams of like 3 or 4 is that chemistry falls apart. And the reason I say that is there's y'all 3. And let's just say, now we all get along, people, don't get it twisted. But let's say one of y'all falls short and isn't growing or learning or contributing, right? And let's just jump ahead. Let's say 5 months have passed, and that's one of you. And now, as ugly as it sounds, when you have a producer, guys, it's important for them to be honest with you. One of you is going to lag, and one of you is going to excel, right? How are y'all, or how do you, maybe one or two of y'all can answer, how are y'all going to approach that if that were to happen?
Take it as when the producer tells you, sometimes it'll be hard to accept it, but in order to grow and learn, you have to accept the negative and the positive. And I always tell Monica, grow a tough skin, and I feel like that's how it is in anything, like really in life and podcasts and whatever. Like, you just have to learn to accept the good and the bad and go and run with it if you want to grow and learn.
Or just criticism, period.
Now, let's just say I'm a part of your team, Nubia, and y'all 3 are doing amazing, and I'm not showing up. I'm not doing my homework. I'm not talking enough, and I'm giving y'all a hard time on the air. How would you, briefly, obviously, this doesn't need to be a therapy session, but how would you approach me to step it up or to step out?
I wouldn't say step out right off the back. We would just come and talk to you. I mean, I would hope the girls do the same. If I'm lacking and I'm not really contributing, I would put you aside, or we would all probably come aside and be like, hey, we all need to do our little step up or stuff like that.
What has been one of the biggest challenges that y'all faced as a podcast team, and how have y'all overcome that? So one of y'all identify something that has been a challenge, and then all 3 of y'all can share how y'all overcome it. Obviously, team guys, I know everything that they've been through in this past 9 episodes, but I can't answer all the questions for them, because this is also like let's just say like a class for how to communicate, how a producer and how their talent, or however you want to identify who you're working with, how you communicate to help each other grow. So what's one challenge that y'all have had
I think
up to now? 9 in. Obviously, 10's already recorded, but 9 in.
Okay, girls. So I'm gonna say this, and y'all either agree or disagree. But I think one challenge that we faced, and we're still obviously learning, is sharing the mic. Like either one of us talks way too much, and one of us doesn't talk at all, or we're fighting over it. Not fighting, I said, but like we're talking over each other. And I think that's one thing we're constantly trying to work
Better.
on. Yeah, in every episode. What do y'all think?
Agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
I feel like of our dinner table talks, I'm the one that talks a lot, but on the mic, I probably don't talk enough. But
Okay, so if we had to rate it, who talks the most, who talks the least?
Oh my
Okay,
gosh.
wait. Who talk? Point? Y'all just point, and whoever y'all think after I ask.
Okay.
Who talks the most? Okay. Who you pointing at, Nubia?
Mo.
Okay, 2 for Mo. Who talks the least?
And me, sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's how I feel.
I think it could be divided both
Okay.
evenly, but I feel like
I
talk-
think that y'all have grown. From 9, in the 9th episode, the balance was a lot better. But in the beginning, as we struggled with developing their communication, like tempo, it was this order right here. From most, and Nubia would say the least. And that was so hard to watch and to kind of figure out, how am I going to coach these girls to say, like, you got to step it up. You got to be quiet. Even whenever you have a point, even whenever you have a plan, like, it's so important to share the mic, to share the airtime, because your episodes are 45 minutes, right? So what can you tell me about sharing time and keeping up with time as podcasters? All y'all don't have to answer, but maybe 1 or 2 of you.
I think like we've learned to divide like the time and pointers of who's saying what, who's, stuff like that has been helpful.
Yeah.
As to like who, like we're taking turns and talking. You
Yeah.
talk this much, I talk this much.
Or I think we've helped to, we figure out the tells as well. Like if we can see, okay, Mo is done talking, somebody else has to pick it up.
Yeah.
Or I was done talking, they're able to pick it up. So we've learned tells.
Yeah. How about you?
I think one thing that I've done personally, when I would prepare for an episode, I would write like so many notes, and I felt like I need to share all these notes. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm going to share them. And now it's more like, okay, I'm going to just see how the conversation flows, and at least I'm prepared. Whether I share it or not, I'm prepared for it, and then I can see if I still get to share it.
Now, dude, after y'all watching and hearing me communicate with the Chit Chat girls, y'all might not ever think, like, I want to hire Sam as a producer. I want Sam to consult us, because I can be a little blunt, but it's always with the purpose.
Yes.
People always misuse the word blunt or honesty with being ugly. To me, they don't go hand in hand. If you're blunt with a purpose, it's meant to help somebody grow or give them a strong correction. That's how would y'all agree that that's how I deliver it? I'm never trying to tear nobody down. No one's saying
I mean, I haven't had another producer, but I mean, I think he's doing a great job.
Yes.
Like, he encourages us after giving us criticism, but it's never just like ugly criticism. It's like, I know y'all can do good. And something that I think is really sweet is that, if we have an episode and he felt like it was a tough episode, he'll text us later on at night, like, hey, I believe in y'all. Y'all are doing a great job. And I think that's great from a producer.
There was one episode where I'm always behind the camera, and they were talking, they were starting their episode, and their energy level was like 0. And I'm sitting back there just hoping like that they would raise it. And I don't even remember, but I remember saying, I stopped the recording. I said, girls, I'm sorry, but y'all need to start over, and y'all need to elevate your you just didn't have energy. But it's stuff like that where as a producer you have to find the confidence, and at the same time you don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. And have I done a good job at that, or what would you tell me that I need to do better up to
Is
now?
Sam asking his own
That's what I
questions?
said. Do you want
Yeah.
the truth? What is he trying to get?
No, here's why I'm
funny.
asking. I'm asking because someone's watching that wants to start a podcast, and they might say, you know what? I want Sam to consult me as starting a podcast or communicating better or developing the team communication. And that's what I do. Like, as far as communication, that's what I do. And so, sorry, I didn't mean to elaborate my own question.
Because it's funny because I was like, okay, we all said it. We're like, we're gonna ask Sam some questions and put him on the spot. And you're like
no.
taking my questions. You've taken like 2 or 3, but I think
Who keeps hitting the mic? I'm
Sorry.
joking.
I think that was me.
Yeah, there's rule number 1: don't hit the mic or what the mic's mounted on.
I think if there was a way to say like Sam's a good producer, like if you're really looking to start a podcast, hit up Sam from the Failed Podcast. Like, I think it's difficult starting a podcast, period, but I know that we've had a good jump start. Like, not only have we had a studio, we've had someone to edit our videos. We've had someone to teach us how to not be so loud. Like, our mics, like when we come in to record, everything's set up for us.
Yes.
Like, we literally just come and sit, and that's because of our producer. So, I mean, seriously, not just because he's,
Your hubby.
my husband, but I think he's doing a great job.
I think it also helps out too. He every time we come in, he makes sure, hey, he asks us questions, or he tells us, okay, I'm gonna do something for you, and we
Like
do like an
exercise,
exercise, and which is pretty awesome. Something that we're not gonna think about it. He does. Like, I think that's the hat of being a producer, wanting to. He's really good. I'm gonna just say that.
So when the girls came in, their communication level as individuals and over a dinner table, I would say 10 being there's a well-balanced, insightful conversation that anyone can be involved in and feel like they've learned. 0 is like you just take over. It's like random. There's rabbit trails everywhere. Like, that's a 0. Okay. And so when the girls came in, I feel like they were like around a 3. Okay. Monica, I believe, I don't know, has done more public speaking and she has watched me do more pods and other podsters that we follow. She's watched what goes on behind the scenes and how stuff looks. So Monica was maybe a 5 in that if I were to rate it. But ever since we started, we do exercises before every pod. And the goal is to elevate these girls' communication. But with communication, you also have to build up confidence. So there's this weird balance that I'm trying to like navigate so that I don't break y'all down, because you can't tell someone communicate confidently while you're breaking them down. That doesn't jive, right? And so I've been having to deal with that for y'all. And so my goal is to develop y'all as communicators, as a well-balanced team, so that you can do your own pod independently. You can interview someone, or you can work along with a host or 2 hosts, which 3 for me, that's difficult time-wise, subject-wise, personality-wise. That is a difficult task. But up to now, I think that y'all have been doing really well. And obviously, I'm going to link their pod below in the description. Watch it and let me know what y'all think. And okay, here's the next one. Then we're going to jump into communication. How do you ensure that your communication skills are effective during the podcast episode while we're recording? And what techniques do you use to engage your audience and to keep your co-host and everything rolling? I know it's a long question, but just try to remember a few pieces of it and give me your thoughts.
I think for me, it's coming prepared. like Monica said earlier, put notes. I was the one when we first started the pod. The very first episode, I came in with like a lot of notes on it, and I didn't really use all of them, right? And then I was in my head. But I feel like the notes really do help, and to make it better, make better communication. We might not use all of them, but at least you're prepared to have at least and carry the conversation through.
Now, Monica mentioned having a lot of notes a while ago. Nubia just mentioned having a lot of notes. Josie goes off the gut. Okay, she does. But the reason I wanted to point that out is because both of them have felt disappointed when they weren't able to share all their notes. But tell me if I'm lying or not. Okay. If y'all were to share all your notes, you would pretty much take the whole pod. Yes. It would take you the whole 45 minutes.
For sure.
And I think that that's what they learned is that come over prepared, but share the highlights, like share the best things. And if you bring a segment into a show that has several people and that segment is good, let it run its course. And by doing that, it automatically going to chop off the rest of the stuff that you had. But if it's good, right? Okay, anyone else, what do y'all do? What kind of skills, what do y'all do so y'all can, technique-wise, communicating to continue doing the pod every time y'all show up?
I feel like I work best with no notes.
She does.
Just because, like, again, like they said, they have notes, they want to get through them. But I feel like I forget what I wrote. And so I just want to go back, but so I don't feel like I need notes because I've lived so much. So with my experience, I just speak out of my experience, and kind of just go with the flow of everything, you know.
Now let me speak to that dynamic as far as a producer. As a producer, like I would want all of y'all to have notes and for all of y'all to be prepared. But as a team, I also know your personal lives and I know what y'all are going through, right? So Josie, I'm going to spill the beans, right? So Josie, we have decided as a group that we weren't going to put that much on Josie because she's dealing with a lot of things schedule-wise. And so we all agreed that she can show up and just play it off the cuff, right? Now, Nubia has strong opinions. And, you know, if she wants something or, you know, I want to do this or do that. So because of her strong opinion, I have made a decision to say I expect more of her so that she can earn her place at the decision table. And that's why I expect a lot more from you. And as a producer, that's what I feel like it's important for me. If y'all push back, even to Monica, if the more you push back, the more I'm going to give you. So I'm measuring you. And if you fail, then I'm going to listen to you less. But if I give you tasks and you do them, then I'm going to hear you more because I have a goal for y'all. Like I'm trying to accomplish certain things. And if I take your opinions, it veers me off. And so I want y'all to know that if you're watching, that it's intentional that Josie has that freedom. But Josie, here's my thing too. Once things get a little more settled, guess what? We're going to put a little more on your plate because long term, guys, if I were to let that continue, there may be resentment that comes from both of the other team members. As bad, as ugly as that sounds, and some won't want to admit that, but why do they have to work and I don't have to work? Like no one likes that. And I'm not saying it's going to come from an ugly place, but in my head, from a perspective, I'm already calculating that. And so, you know, Josie, good job up to now. And obviously, as a team, we're for each other as things come up. But I also wanted to add context in that it's just not like irresponsible of me to be like, just do whatever. Everything has a purpose from my perspective.
And
go ahead.
Sorry. And two, you won't grow if you don't give the person more, like more, you know, of a
expectation.
Like an expectation. And at times I do have to write notes because Sam's questions are like very
intense
and very intense, and I have to remember what I'm gonna say because Sam will cut me off real quick. But it's good because you'll grow. You know?
Yeah.
What steps are, maybe one of you can answer this. Both of y'all spoke, so Monica, what steps have you taken to improve your communication skills overall, and how do you measure your progress as a podcaster?
So I guess it's just like a thing that I'm trying. I am constantly watching other podcasters. Like, shout out to the Osos. At first we were gonna be called the Osas, and then we were like, wait a minute, no, because we anyways. But yeah, and so then I watch like just other podcasters, Forever Reckless and Fort Worth Roots, and I just watch them and how their dynamic is, because like even in like Thanks for the Invite, there's so many different like characters and personalities and their tones, and so I'm like, okay, well, that was really good, oh, that was catchy. And even with your Sam, when you interview, and I'm like, okay, I take hints from that, but then I go back and watch our episode once just to enjoy it. And if I don't enjoy an episode, I'm like, okay, something was wrong, right? But then I go back, 'cause I only watch it 2 times. The second time, I'm like, okay, how many times did I say how many times did I pause, how many times did I cut the girls off? And so I make those notes so that I make sure that on the next episode I did better. And if I didn't, then I already come in with like these standards of, okay, I need to not do this, not do that, and I have those in my mind, like a mental note, like, okay, I need to get better. Yeah.
Anyone y'all want to add to that?
No, I agree with her.
Why? Okay,
That's
I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop
Sam's
y'all.
not gonna like
I was gonna say that Sam's not gonna take
Okay,
that.
Josie, what would I say to that?
Be like, give me some. Sorry.
Like, you can't all agree to the same thing.
Okay,
You have
so
to
You gotta
disagree.
elaborate.
when you're communicating and you're in a podcast, she literally Monica was putting her heart out there, and she didn't even give her a chance to take a breath and reset. She just said, I agree. And so the ball literally gets pushed right back. And it's something that I've been working with these girls to never end a conversation, or if someone asks you something, like no one word answers, no yes and no, and I agree. It's funny because I've done several pods in the past 5 years or more. There was times where I would talk for like 5 minutes or 3 minutes straight, just dropping stuff, right? And then my co-host at the time would just be like, yeah, that's good. And in my head, I'm like, I don't have nothing else. Well, I mean, I do, but it's the next segment. I need to feed off of your response. And so that's also something that podcasts with several people need to do, and I see a lot of people fail at that because it's not natural. It's difficult. It works over coffee, but it doesn't work whenever the mic is on. What has been your best experience so far as a podcaster and as part of the ChitChatCafe team?
Coming over a subject, like for instance, an episode title or something like that. I think we recorded one not too long ago. Y'all are gonna get to hear it. And we were in our feelings because one was thinking, oh my gosh, she's gonna bring something else. I'm like, dude, it's not even like that. Or even on my end too. But it helped us to talk about it even in the beginning, to be like, look, I get what you're saying. I get your feelings, but it's not going to be like I want to make sure that you're okay and you're understanding or listening to me, that it's going to be okay. But we're able to talk about it and not put our feelings out there, but without judging or feeling opinionated or hurting their feelings.
Now, that's the episode that's coming out that you're referring. Y'all two, don't lose your train of thought. Speaking to newbie as part, like, they talk about a subject that's real personal to them, and they're very emotional about it. You're going to watch the episode. It's going to release this Sunday. We might change it to Saturday anyways. I don't know. But the point being is that it didn't happen naturally. Like, before we push record, like Josie got on to them and said, don't do
She
this,
sure did.
don't say that. Like, there was some work that needed to happen behind the scenes.
Yeah.
That if they would have pushed record without that pep talk, the show would have been a disaster. And so if y'all know each other, then you have to know what you're gonna expect and speak to it. That's my, like, it's just an advice for you that are podcasting. If there's some emotions, if there's some low expectations before you push record, mention it, work it out. But it's always fast. It's like, hey, here's my point, accept it, move on, and then push record. Because if not, it's going to ruin an episode, because there's going to be some
That
tension. And the people that are watching or listening, that they're going to feel it, okay?
Yes.
For sure.
What has been your best experience so far as a podcaster and being a part of the Chit Chat Cafe team?
I think for me, like, it's funny because, or maybe not funny, but it's interesting because I've watched you with so many podcasts that you've done and that you've been in, and I'm like, I'm always rooting for you, right? And I'm like, yes, and I'm so excited for you, and this is great, and I love it, and I'm like your cheerleader over here. Yay, go Sam! And so now I get to feel like accomplished, like when we do an episode, and I'm like, that's us, like that's exciting, and being able to talk about it, like I understood where you were coming from whenever you would like talk about it, like, oh, listen to my podcast, the Phil podcast, and in back of my mind, I'm like,
Is that what I really sound like?
No.
In my podcast.
Yeah, sometimes. No, I'm just kidding. And so now I'm like, hey, listen to ChitChatCafe, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I understand where Sam's coming from. So I think that's been a great experience to be able to experience that like firsthand. Yeah. Even though I experienced it with you, but now it's like firsthand.
There's pressure.
Yeah, for sure.
Like there's pressure. Even people who are having fun and laughing, there's pressure when they push record. And it's important to set goals. It's important to want to grow and to identify the things that need adjustment, but it's hard. Like, I don't know, man. I think, is it important for y'all to have a producer looking, because y'all could do this on your own without my help?
I think
at
it
this
is.
point,
It's important because you can tell us the negative things and the positive, because I feel like without us having those things that you tell us, like all the negatives and then some positives, we would just be like chit-chatting away and kind of like going no direction, just recording to record. And so we need direction.
So y'all were new to podcasting just 10 episodes ago. What advice would you give to someone let's just make it more direct, to a group of girls, it's 3 of them that want to start a podcast? From your experience up to now, what advice would you give them?
Just do it. Don't let your mind put more pressure than what it is, because I can tell you, coming in, I'm like, oh my gosh, I was so in my head. And just shake it off and do it and learn as you go.
Yes.
You will grow.
Whether if it's, an experience, because that's what I said. I'll do it for the experience, but now I'm also learning, and also, get you a good producer. So you don't have to, be working alone, or, you have someone there to direct you in the right direction.
I think the first thing is make sure you communicate well with each other, like off of the podcast. Like if there was something said or something that that is expected, make sure you communicate it well. Don't just assume that your other team players know or that they're gonna understand. Make sure that you give it with a good delivery. Like if you're the host, I feel like if you're the host, you almost feel like this entitlement, like, well, they gotta do what I say, and it's like, no, like you're a team. And so it's good to kind of tone it down and just like, hey, we're in this together, like let's climb this together. And then I think that
It's okay. Let me stop you there.
Okay.
So whenever you talk about host and co-host, guys, some people get caught up on those terms. I'm just gonna make it plain and simple for you from my perspective. The host covers the bills. That's all I gotta say. So it's and as you go later on, the host it becomes a different thing. But in the beginning, it's like, I'll take the responsibility. I'll put my name on everything. Like I'm the one that's gonna get canceled. There's rent. There's equipment. There's stuff like that. So the host is basically saying, I'm gonna take on that responsibility. But everyone in the team is important, and everyone's responsible for their part 100%. Like the co-host isn't carrying everyone. Like this is a combined effort, and I'm putting it out there because people get it twisted, and they start thinking like, ooh, I'm the host, I'm the this.
For sure.
It's not. Trust me, it's not fun being the host. I'm the host of my own podcast, and all the responsibility falls on me, and so that's something that just has to happen in the beginning, and someone has to take that role. But even up to now, as being the host of the Chit Chat Cafe, from what I've seen, you've done a great job. But that doesn't mean nothing. It means more when it comes from your teammates. How do y'all feel about Monica being your host up to now?
Good job, Monica. No, she's really I love it. Okay, whenever she texts us or whenever we're talking about it, she's like, "Hey guys, like I want to tell you guys like what I'm thinking on doing," and she doesn't put it like, "You have to do this." It's like, "Give me your opinion," which is really nice. And then at the same time, I mean, is Monica? She's just so sweet.
She's too bossy. No, she comes with, directly just telling us, this is what we're doing, this is what we're talking about. What do you think? Like, give me your opinion.
Feedback.
Give me what do you think? Like, she gives you that room to speak, but she knows what she wants, and she's gonna come direct, to you and let you know, hey, what do you think about this?
And so right now we're kind of giving like flowers to each other. And it's important to do it on the air. It's important to do it off the air. If you're a podcaster or you want to launch, make that a practice that you do. Here's why. There's like people, there's like haters, okay? For anytime you put your stuff out there, y'all do not react.
Okay.
I heard y'all giggling. Y'all were like, no. And so, there's been some comments that I have got wind of, from the girls, from people who we really respect, admire, and kind of know us personally. And they've thrown, like, what's the opposite of flowers, girls? Rocks?
Yeah. Thorns.
No. You think because Easter's coming and stuff. No.
Because Easter's coming.
No. And so they're throwing rocks. And these rocks hold a lot of emotion. They hold a lot of truth. It's one thing for haters that you don't know, but it's another thing whenever it's people you do know. Obviously, they're watching right now because they couldn't say anything unless they watched. And so we're thankful. And Nubia is hitting that mic.
It's not just me, FYI, okay?
But you've been the most because I've been watching.
It's been Monica, not just me.
And so it's important not to let that stuff weigh on you because it is going to happen. The people you want to support you are not gonna support you.
It's hard.
They're for the most part they're gonna probably hate on you and discourage you. And I just want to encourage y'all to keep going because it ain't the end. Like the haters and the negative stuff is still gonna keep coming. But these girls are strong. They've been through some stuff. They're gonna get through any lack of support. They're gonna get through it. And I just wanted to put that message out there on your behalf. Here we go. As we're talking about teams and your team, co-host, and host, what advice would you give to someone who's looking to improve their team's efficiency and collaboration? And what are some of the most important factors to consider when building a successful team? I say that by saying you're growing into a successful team.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, Sam.
Short and sweet answers. Start from Nubia. Go this way.
I would have to say take the criticism with a grain of salt and a little bit of sweet on it. Don't take it personally. Again, when people are trying to, they're trying to mold you to be the better you. So, and also on top of that, communication.
I feel like she said it, communication, but most importantly, like, listen to the negative and the positive and run with it, do better, be better, and then just run with it.
As far as like the collab part, I think what a good rule of thumb is speak about an episode and then divide it, where everyone can take a part and they're going to take ownership of it. I think that made a major difference from the beginning to now, and it just feels better because then you can literally see the chemistry come together versus only one person knows all what's happening and then the other people are like, okay, let me fit in this way. And so like that, it's like creatively all woven together.
Yeah, a guide.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's things. So we have like an intro, we have topics, we have segments, we have talking points, and all of y'all are learning how to navigate those things. Y'all have someone that does the closing, right? Officially. Monica, who's the one that does the closing? And again, guys, you're watching. This is what kind of happens. This is how I am as a producer, but I'm about to put the girls on the spot right now just to show y'all like a small exercise to improve your team. Okay, so who's the one that does the closing? Who's responsible for it officially?
Officially, me. Right? Yeah, me.
For the plugs, right?
Oh, for the plugs, it's all of us.
Okay, so I think
now
Josie's
we've transitioned to all of us.
Josie's done it more than y'all, I think. Cause she was,
No, Nubia.
Nubia, you've closed.
Josie is the opening.
Okay, so here's what happens in a group. If someone does a task multiple times, right? The other team members will criticize it because they have something to criticize, right? Mm-hmm. And they all in their head, they're like, "Oh, why didn't she do this? Why didn't she do it like that, or whatever? Why didn't the other teammate do it in this way or that way?" Correct.
Correct.
So I'm gonna put y'all on the spot. Which one of y'all want to close today? Even though Nubia, that's your responsibility. How about y'all? How would you do a closing right now? You're a guest on a podcast, and you got to give your plugs.
Oh gosh, I think I would do it.
Do it.
Dele.
3, 2.
Okay, bye.
Short and simple,
Short and simple.
That's how Sam is. Short and simple. It's short and simple.
No, it's like, thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for our next episode. Go like, share, and subscribe to our channel. You guys.
Hasta
la next chat.
Okay, pause. Babe.
Thank you for watching the Failed Podcast. I appreciate all your likes and comments and subscriptions. Please keep following us as we bring more interviews to your telephone or wherever you get your YouTube. Make sure you come and follow my page. I was trying to do you,
Nubia?
Sam.
Okay, Nubia, you do it.
Hi, guys. Well, thank you so much for coming in today. This has been very great. But go ahead and follow us, like, and subscribe. And we just want to say thank you so much for Phil Podcast for inviting us over here. And, lady, what did we say?
Hasta la next ChitChat.
So the reason behind...
Oh, my goodness.
We got about 3-4 more minutes. So the reason I did that exercise for people that are watching is so that it's easy to criticize someone if they do the same job over and over. Mm-hmm. And you have to move it around or have everyone, y'all gonna laugh, have everyone fail at it so that no one criticizes each other and that they're a little more graceful for the one who has the task and they're learning. And it's things like that improve the team. And it's just going to help them grow. And I just want to say, girls, y'all keep it up. Keep doing what y'all doing. The Chit Chat Cafe's got we got some good goals. You know what I mean? Our audience base is growing and I'm enjoying it, and I hope that the listeners are enjoying it as well. And we're not gonna focus on this, but I'm gonna call y'all out for something, okay?
Okay.
So in the beginning they said I told them we were gonna do this special show. Mm-hmm. And they go, and I said, I'm going to ask y'all questions and we're going to talk, y'all. Just be ready. And the show's over, by the way. There's no more. I'm going to close it off in a second. And they insisted and they asked, Sam, can we ask questions? Because we got some questions. And none of y'all did.
Well,
no, wait. So here's the thing.
said
It's
no.
difficult. It's difficult to do it, but as podcasters, you gotta find the moment and make it happen. The moment has passed, and so
So obviously we need to be back because we totally failed.
yeah. No, but y'all didn't fail. But I'm pointing that out as well because it doesn't come natural. But before
the
we
opportunity.
push record, it's easy to say it, but then how are you gonna execute
Sam,
it?
do you like being our producer?
Yes, I enjoy it.
No. Give a little bit more.
No,
Elaborate.
Elaborate.
Yeah, no. I've shown up for the past 10 episodes. I've heard and seen these girls more than I should have because I edit everything. I do
Sorry,
everything
Bubba's.
for them. So I'm so glad that they trust me and they listen to my critiques whenever we finish every episode. I always give them critiques and exercises, and they've received it well. So thank y'all so much. And at some point, the student becomes the teacher, and you're well on your way of doing that. It all starts with wax on and wax off.
We appreciate you, Sam.
Yes.
And so that's all for today's episode of our podcast. We have enjoyed, let me cue this up. We have enjoyed today's talk. Let me see. There we go. And remember, failure is not a chance to quit. It's an opportunity to grow and for self-discovery. Embrace it, learn from it, and use it as fuel to propel you towards your goals. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a rating and a review on this platform. And obviously, everything will be in the descriptions below as how to watch and listen to their podcast. And thank you for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And like I always say, we'll see you on the next one. What do y'all say to close?
Hasta la next chit chat.